2021.
Yep.
Yeah. Woohoo! So yeah, as you can see, as Grace has promised, we are in full festive regalia.
Christmas regalia for sure.
Yes. So for today, you will discover the bad study habits that you should stop in 2022. You should kick it out the window. You should throw it away. You should just vanish it or bomb it out the window. Yeah. Wait.
Toss it out, toss it out, toss it away.
Explode it. Yeah. So before we get into that, we're gonna start with a little story. Okay. So there was this farmer. His name is Paul, and Paul, he was really really annoyed because every time he was planting his carrots. I think carrots will do. Carrots. He would actually he has this issue of weeds growing. All right, every single time, and he, no matter what he did, he could not get rid of them. So one day his neighbor came around and he was like, hey, Tom. All right, his name is Farmer Tom. Tom, like, I'm not sure why, but I can't get rid of the weeds. Every time I try to get rid of them, they always grow back. And Tom's like, well, did you try pulling them out with the roots?
Yep. Okay.
All right. So today, so basically today, the study habits that we are going to be talking about is actually quite unconventional because we do find the conventional ones, they don't actually tackle the source of they don't tackle the root of the problem. Yeah. They normally tackle like the symptoms, like the fact that you don't like it, you find it boring, and all these kind of things. You always forget, when you leave the exam hall, everything you remember, like it just like disappears the moment you come out of the exams, right? And that's not cool if you're doing like a major exam like O levels, right? So today, this is what you need to keep in mind when we're talking about the study habits that you should be stopping in 2022. Hi, my name is Erica. That is Joe. And over there is Grace, our special guest, who happens to also be a study coach on the side.
Yes.
We all
happy to be
we all
here.
come from the same school, all right? The same school of thought, the same school of education. Yeah. And so we are so happy to have you guys online with us. We basically are teachers who hated studying because memorizing did not work for us, among various other things that we experienced in school, all right? And so hence that's why we came up with Imagine Notes, and that is why we are doing these live streams, because we want to be able to help you. And today we're going to get to the root of the problem, as we mentioned earlier, because we're rooting for you. Woohoo! To your success. All right. And we mean it, all right? Because we run schools, and yeah, we understand the struggles that and we wish that our students go through, and we wish more students actually knew about the kinds of like advice that we give our students in our school. But we know that not everyone can come to the school because of geographical challenges. We're based in Malaysia. But we know that whatever we have is really, really useful. And this is how Grace and I grew up. Yes. You guys have been wondering since last week, we do look alike. Yeah, because we're sisters. Yeah. There we go. All right, so let's begin. All right. Let us begin. And if you happen to be watching us on the live stream, like, say hi. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions at all about studying or anything like that, where can they contact us, Joe?
They can drop us like a comment in the comment section below under this live stream, or you can just reach us at our social media as well. Yeah, like
Cool.
IG.
Yep, and the handle is Adventure with Erica.
Oh, we are on TikTok as well. So if you have any questions while scrolling through the TikTok videos, yeah, you can text us there too.
Awesome, possum. Thank you, Joe. All right, so we're gonna go into study habit number 1. You should be kicking out. All right. First one is chasing perfection.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yes, teacher Grace has a very interesting fact about perfection.
Yes, perfection does not help you at all. In fact, the pursuit of perfection, I'm sorry, but yes, it's true. Like, bluntly speaking, it doesn't help you at all because it wastes a lot of your time.
Mm.
A lot of time. And that time could have been spent on more iterations. What that means would be you trying many more times versus doing or working on the same thing, agonizing over it, torturing yourself over making that one paragraph perfect. I used to do that. So if you want to talk about someone who knows that kind of agony, I do. Okay. I used to write essays that way. I would just rewrite the same paragraph over and over. And it was so frustrating because you don't get anywhere. You never finish the piece. And on top of that, it never seems good enough. But
Oh,
if you think about it, how much time have you spent? An hour on one paragraph when you could have been done ages ago and gone off to go, like hang out with your sister. Like I used to love hanging out with my sister. So
no.
yeah, those were
She's
things I would rather do
kidding.
that I didn't have time to do because I was chasing perfection. And there were times where I was waiting for the stars to align. My feng shui must be perfect before I finally succeed. And that also wasted a lot of time because how often does that strike? A lot of the time, acting first and
Mm.
actually getting yourself in motion. That is what gets you inspired. That is
Yeah.
what gives you your ideas. That's what gets your momentum going. And then you actually finish the thing. And there's
Mhm.
always many other opportunities that will come along where you're going to be able to still practice those skills. So don't torture yourself. I used to. It was horrible. Don't do it. So yes, that and the curb, guys. Seriously.
Yeah,
Not
and Grace, you brought up a really interesting point, which is the whole fact about the stars and moons and planets aligning. I think in our past show, Joe and I actually researched, or I can't remember who I researched with, but we actually checked out whether it was actually possible for the stars and the moons and planets to align.
Mm.
It is actually scientifically and highly impossible for everything to align, honestly. Yeah, all the planets actually. Yeah, the last time it's mostly happened was like a few millennia ago.
Yeah, probably need to wait another few millennials.
oh my
Yeah,
lord.
we don't know when the next time it's going to happen.
Yeah. So the point is get started, get moving, aim for excellence. Yes, we're not saying aim for like mediocrity or less. That's
Mm.
definitely not the point at all. Like do your very best. Just
Yeah.
don't waste your time.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Grace. All right, Joe. Our next thing, the second habit that we're going to be kicking is copying.
Oh, okay.
Copying. So yeah, do you have any tips or any reasons why copying doesn't really work?
Copying doesn't really work. Okay, so this is basically my primary school experience. Because I'm from Chinese primary school, like mainly Chinese primary school, and we always have these military practices of copying articles. Yeah, whether in Mandarin, BM, English, every week we will be having like at least 3 dictations just to copy and memorize everything, and then you just need to transfer the exact same words and phrasing onto the exercise book.
Oh,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when you actually like answering or writing an essay for the exam, right? 9 out of 10 of the essays will be similar because we memorize the same thing and it's over and over again. So you don't see any other like creative writing styles and all, it's just like the same thing, exactly the same thing from the article, like the same phrasing, same way to describe certain things, and it's so boring and dull.
so I have a question for you, Joe. Did
Yeah.
it work? Did it help you improve your Mandarin?
Not really, but if you're talking about drilling, then probably, because you just keep doing it over and over again until you know how to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if you had to create your own and
No.
use the words creatively, would you be able to do it?
You won't be able to.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. Yeah. So guys, that's one of the reasons why copying does not work. Yeah. So we brought it up because some of you actually like have a tendency to copy your friend's notes or to copy notes from the board
Mm.
without any processing as to
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. What we do in our school to dissuade our students from copying blindly is we'll get a primary school student, right? Or like a lower secondary student if they're in secondary school. And we will give them an math book, all right, with all the complex formulas. And so this little 7-year-old, right, will say, okay, can you please copy, right?
Mm.
So, and the 7-year-old will diligently copy what is in an math book, all the formulas and everything that's written in there. At the end of it, we'll ask them, do you understand what you just copied?
No.
What's the answer, Grace?
Always a resounding no. They have just done. So it looks beautiful,
Numbers.
no value. It has given them no value at all.
So yeah, so just stop copying blindly. That's the second
Mm.
habit you should just quit. Yeah, and that's the root cause as to why you put in so much effort taking those notes and copying from the board, and why you still struggle so much to sit down to study, because you just made it harder for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, harder to process, harder to retain, harder to recall. All right, cool. All right, so guys, if you're liking the content so far, hit the like and subscribe button, and be sure to follow us on our social media. And guys, just to make it very, very clear, we're not here to sit on our high horses and go like, yo, this is how you need to be. It's not that. And if it comes across that way, I sincerely apologize. It's not that at all. It's just what we've experienced here, and what we're sharing here is basically, look, it's no one's fault. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that it's no one's fault, because no one really teaches you how to study,
Yeah.
how to learn, how to memorize study effectively. All right. And in this day and age, we all know that studying is just a means to just get through high school, right? It doesn't really give you any value. So for us, it's always about how do we optimize it so that you have more time to play and spend less time studying, because like there's so much more to life than just reading from a textbook, honestly, or your notes.
Yeah.
And you get a ton of value from life as well. So please
Mm.
go and live.
Yeah. We're doing this because we want you to go out there and live your life. Yeah. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
All right. So the third study habit is memorizing. Joe, do you want to take that on as well? Do you have anything to share on memorizing? Why does memorizing not work? Why is it a habit people should be keeping?
Similar experience, memorizing doesn't work at all. I mean, like if you go through the dictations over and over again, but you don't process anything that you memorize, it's basically just that. I mean, you are able to write it down on the exercise book because you memorize it, but then you don't process it. So you don't actually understand like what kind of phrasing or what kind of way you actually get to that phrase, that situation, that experience, it's all gone. You're just memorizing from a word to another word. That's it. There is no like in-depth learning or in-depth understanding at all. You're just memorizing the surface. You know how it looks like, how's the position of the wording and or the phrasing, but you never understand the meaning of the phrase. Like why was the phrase used in that particular paragraph per se? Yeah, you will never get to experience that. Yeah.
Awesome.
So to me, memorizing has no feeling at all, just like photocopy machine, you just put in there like from A to A, from B to B, from C to C. You never get to know like why A looks like that, like with the triangle and the vertical line in between and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thanks so much, Joe, for that. And memorizing is the exact reason, and copying is the exact reason why we came up with ImagiNotes, which is our creative note-taking method, because it is far more effective to remember and know, especially if you are sitting for exams, like major exams where you have to remember 2 years worth of work. You want to be able to have a note-taking style where even if you don't where it allows you to not hit the revision books so often, like not have to revise so often, or even revise for long hours, because like you guys have lives to live and you won't have time to spend unless you choose to sacrifice game time and play time, which we know that and time with friends, which we know that that's just not possible for so many students out there. Like we were once students too. It's just not possible. We know that. All right. So we're not gonna lie and tell you that's not happening. All right. So yeah, every week we come on at this time and we normally do Imagine Notes. We normally teach you guys how to do this creative note-taking method. Yeah. Okay. So and we're gonna move on to the fourth habit. All right. Which is to wait to know it all. Grace, do you want to take that one on? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Why shouldn't you wait to know it all?
Yeah. So here's the thing about waiting to know it all. There's a bit of a cost, okay, to the time that you actually have. So the more you wait until you know everything before, let's just say you start finally opening that workbook or that past year paper, you are giving yourself a much tougher time because you're going to be forcing yourself into a very, very tight corner in terms of the time that you have available to you. So make it an adventure, right? Like just open up, grab that workbook, open it up, and start exploring it as if you were some kind of major, I don't know, I'm an explorer in the Amazon, something like that, right? Take that approach. And, you can flip, find the answers, figure it out. That actually gets you going a lot faster and you actually start a lot earlier. Then what happens is sometimes you may see these things first. Then let's just say eventually your teacher teaches it. Then it fills in more pieces of the puzzle versus you starting with nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, like waiting for someone to teach you before you can actually do it. Because in real life, that's not how things always work. Yes, there are many instances where there are pre-written manuals and systems that you can check up, right? And then you learn how to do it. But there are also plenty of times where when someone does something new, is there a manual? No. And there's answer sheet? No. So yeah, but you want to go explore, right? Go find out, figure it out. So that's something that you can actually practice when you don't wait to know it all.
Yep. And fun fact, guys, your parents, right? Sometimes you might think that, they're not treating you right or they don't know how to communicate or deal with you. Here's the thing. There's no manual for you.
Yeah.
There's no manual on how to raise, little Melinda, 101.
Yeah. How do you raise a
Melinda,
right?
101. Yeah, and there's so many aspects of life like that, as Grace has put it. Yeah, and fun fact also, guys, this is something I did during one of my major exams called the PMR. We take that in Form 3 or in this case
3.
Year 9. Yeah, Year 9 for some of you. And basically, what happened was that I thought I needed to know stuff from the textbook first. Like I needed to study first and then do the workbook. But I realized what was more effective was actually opening the workbook, looking at the question, and then actually like digging through the textbook for the answer. I actually retained more information that way because it was like what Grace said. It's actually like an adventure. You guys should try it out for yourself. This is a tip. I don't think we give very many people because I actually forgot I did this, but it was super effective because what I didn't know, I remembered kind of thing because I was like, oh, I didn't actually know this. So it made it easier to remember. And then because you're digging through the textbook, the studying becomes active. Yeah. So this gives you reasons to make your parents happy because all you need to do is like, Mom, Dad, I need 3 workbooks. Yeah, I need 3 workbooks. So every time you do the question, you get stuck. Just allow yourself to go look it up in the textbook. Yeah, it's just, it's super effective. Can't explain why, but it worked.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Erica, I love what you shared about you remembered what it is you didn't know. So I guess the thing that you want to include actually in your study habits is also paying attention to what you don't know. Right? So that you can then have those gaps filled up for yourself and you start paying attention actually to like, oh, is there something here that I'm going to learn or find that's actually going to answer my question? So yeah, it's so important. So it's great to know what you do know, and then it's also really, really good to know what it is that you don't. So it's brilliant. Love that.
Cool.
Yeah. And what that does is that it gives you a starting point because if there are chapters that are very easy, right? You want to make sure you know that 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the ones that you don't know, then you know that you need to double down a little bit more on them. Yeah, to know it better. All right.
Yeah, I
So
think this
you
applies
can
to
do something
mathematics
about it.
questions.
Yeah.
Mathematical book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, guys. This has been fabulous. If you guys are finding it useful, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Join us on social media at Adventure with Erica. We've moved it there as an adventure, as an education is an adventure. Ed venture. Yeah, because
Yay.
that's what we try to do with your studies, and that's why we're doing this. Okay, last habit, the final habit of the night is called pretending to know it all.
Pretending.
Pretending to know it all.
It's like, yes, I know.
Let's do it all together. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So the
Yeah.
last study habit of the night is, everyone, do it with me. Pretending to know it all.
Absolutely. I love that.
All right. All right, Grace. Any tips for us for that one? So what does that
Yes.
mean, and why is it a study habit that is the source of like not being able to score, not finding the motivation to study, or like you're struggling every time you sit down to study? Why is it? Why is that?
It's huge. It's a huge problem because number one, pretending to know it all. So here are the ways in which people pretend to know it all. When they're learning something, right? Teachers teach. Does everyone understand? But inside you're like, right? So if you know that you have done that, I know I've done that before as well as a student. There were times where I was just like, oh, maybe it's not worth it. Or I would be bothering my teacher or bothering this person. So I should not bother them. The more you do that, that is also a form of pretending to know it all. Right? There are those people, of course, who outwardly pretend to know everything. Well, they'll be like, yeah, I know. But then they share something that's just completely off. Like, oh, this person has no idea what they're talking about, right? I'm sure we've all run into people like that. And so that is a horrible attitude because it's off-putting, one. Number two, they're clearly not going to learn anything because they think they already know it, right? So when you already think you know everything, what's there to learn? So internally, your brain would also be switched off. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I already know. Because if you believe, there are certain, it's not really a belief, but it's more like there's the power of the human mind is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You can make what you believe come true. Okay.
Okay.
So if you believe that you know everything, your brain is going to buy that. Okay. And then it's going to also be like, yeah, I know everything. No problem. I know everything. I don't need to learn anything. So that's an issue, right? So you'll be, feeding your brain this message, and that is a problem because then nothing's going to go in, right? And then if you don't speak up, that's the other one that becomes a problem because it starts creating a gap between what you know and what you don't know, or what you didn't know, and then whatever it is that you're learning along the way that builds upon what you don't know. There's gonna be even more stuff that you don't know.
It's like getting further and further away.
Yes. So you need like stretching out that gap for yourself and making it even harder for yourself to catch up or to even learn all the things that you actually need to know. So that is something that you absolutely need to kick for your sake.
Yeah.
Because I think we see so many people who have been conditioned like this as students and as children, and they bring it with them into adulthood as well. And so that does become a problem when you're working on something that's high pressure, right? Or things need to get done, huge projects, buildings, whatever need to be made. And when people don't ask important questions, well, that's how things get messed up, unfortunately, or things get missed out. So kick this, because this is a habit that can affect you for a very long time in your life.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a great point that you brought up there, Grace. And I also want to point out that, again, we're not here to say you're wrong, like like do this or anything like that. It's not about that, yeah, because again, these are things that no one really shares with you. No one really teaches you like how to overcome, or that, oh hey guys, that's actually to your detriment. Pretending to know it all is actually to your detriment. And unfortunately, we are in environments sometimes where we sometimes have to pretend to know it all because we might get laughed at, we might get put down, and we completely get what we're asking for right now is that you try to be a little bit stronger than that. And also, if you happen to be in an environment where it's like that, we highly encourage you to look for a safer environment where you are free to ask questions and free to just like get curious, because those things are vulnerable, and we understand why many of you, like even for me, I hardly ask questions in class, so sometimes I'll just sit there, but I'll actually, because I hate if like people think I'm stupid. And it's about growing up in an environment where it just wasn't safe to ask questions. I got scolded before. So there are exceptions, and we have done a TikTok video called "Is it safe to ask questions in class?" for those of you who might be worried and might be in an environment where it is actually unsafe, to ask questions, and therefore the survival mode is to pretend. But what Grace is pointing out here is that we want you to be conscious and choose when you do it, because a lot of people, it becomes a default thing. The fear is so great, it becomes a default thing, and it doesn't serve you at all, right, over time. And for many of us, it goes straight, it follows us all throughout adulthood.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you so much for that context, Erica. Yes, like that makes it so much more specific, because it's true that being able to adjust to your situation, to the context that you're in, is also a great skill to have. So
yes,
that is perfect. And yes, stay safe as well. I mean, we definitely don't want you to feel horrible.
Yeah.
So guys,
your growth, for sure.
Absolutely. And these are life lessons as well, things that you can take with you through life. And that's what we love to do. Joe, do you have anything to add to this point before we wrap up? It's 8:30.
Not really.
Okay, fabulous. So for those of you who've just joined us tonight, if you like what you see, and you like what you're hearing, and you want more of it, you think what we are saying makes sense and it's actually helpful to you, Joe, what should they do?
Like our channel, subscribe, and like our video. Comment below to say hi. We won't bite, okay? Follow us on our social media as well.
Yes, guys, we really mean when we say we love to hear from you. And if you ask us questions also, we love that. All right. So to wrap things up, just so you know that we're going to have a Christmas giveaway, and it will be hosted on the new channel that we've started called Adventure with Erica. Yes, we started a personal brand for purely strategic reasons. In terms of marketing and sales. If you're ever curious, you can drop us a DM and ask us, or maybe one day we might explain to you like why. It is also a life lesson. So it may not have anything to do with school, but like thinking strategically is a life skill, and we like sharing those things, don't we? Yeah. All right, cool. Cool. So for those of you who just joined us, thank you so much for staying all the way through, and Merry Christmas, everybody. And a Happy New Year. This is our last episode for 2021. We will be back with more episodes in January. I cannot English today, but there we go. All right. Celebrate, guys. Final episode. We made it. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Have a great holiday, and Happy New Year to you guys.
Yay. Merry Christmas.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Enjoy your holidays. Christmas giveaways. Teacher Charles mentioned. Very last minute.
Yes, Teacher Charles, we have Christmas giveaways happening. So it will start on Christmas, and then it will sort of like flow into a back to school giveaway where we'll be giving away tools that might actually be helpful for your study journey. So so keep an eye out for that. And Teacher Charles, like if you have students with whom you think might benefit from it, just let them know, I guess. Help us share with them. We're very happy to help. All right, take care, everybody.